Hey, what's going on, everyone? Thank you for coming to watch. I've got you guys an update on some very active things that are going to be happening across the United States today, tomorrow, and then really next week. We're going to be talking about a lot of snow for many different places, really across the central and then in the interior portions of the Northeast. We really got to talk about this because that travel is really going to be disrupted a lot. And as you can see, we got Winter Storm Cait, which is our third named winter storm of the season here, which is currently dropping a lot of snow over Kansas. This is going to be spreading into Oklahoma and then eventually into Missouri. If you're in northwestern Missouri, be ready for a few snow bands that will definitely drop. I would say anywhere up to 5 inches of snow. Really depends on where you are, but you can see a very big band of snow stretching all the way down from it looks like portions of northern Texas getting in on some snow, all the way up towards Wisconsin, where we do have some more snow that's controlled by the system. All right. This is a very classic kind of winter storm for this time of the year because you've got a cold front coming down, and basically what it means is that if you're behind the cold front and it's cold enough for snow, it will most likely snow. And if you're warm enough, and you're in front of that cold front, you're in that warm front, it will most likely stay as rain. Okay, so that's kind of the scenario that we're dealing with for now. Okay, we can see the DFW area getting in on some light rain, but that will change to moderate rain soon. Looks like it's going to stay as all snow for northern Illinois. I think some areas in southern Illinois, could get some snow, but I think it's going to be mostly rain for you guys. But you can notice how on those last few frames of the model run, right by Kansas City, that heavy band of rain actually quickly changes to heavy snow. Okay, so that's definitely something to watch, even if you're in central Illinois. I know it seems unlikely at this point because the storm is getting right up to you guys, but I think that we definitely have a shot still at seeing some pretty good snowfall totals out there into Illinois. I got a big update for you guys tonight because we're going to be looking at a lot of things. You can see I have a million tabs open, so I'm hoping that this won't pass 40 minutes. I'll try my best. But yeah, that seems to be it. Also, we're going to be talking about lake effect snow up here in the Great Lakes, right around the border. Yeah, we're going to be talking about, a big snowfall event for you guys in the northern tier of the country. All right, so we go over to our alerts. And as you can see, what we've got going on is we got winter storm warnings going out for portions of Kansas now. These winter storm warnings and advisories are moving with the storm system. If you've noticed, yesterday they were shifted farther to the southwest. Now they're moving up to the northeast following the system. But you can see in this purple here, this is where we have those winter weather advisories marking where we're going to see snow. That could stick on those roadways and any surface that's cold enough, really, for snow. And you can see that does go into portions of. You could say this is west central Illinois, so you're right there. If you're in central Illinois, I'm rooting for you guys out there to see some snow. But I think it's definitely possible. It's definitely there, but you're right around the border of that winter weather advisory. So really what you can say, if you're under a winter weather advisory, okay, you should expect at least an inch of snow, I would say. If you're right on the border of that winter weather advisory, maybe a little less. Winter storm warning, obviously, you're calling for a few more additional inches of snow, so maybe 5 plus. All right, but you can see this winter weather advisory goes all the way up from portions of northern Illinois all the way down to northern Texas. We have 3 counties in northern Texas that are under this winter weather advisory. Winter storm watches going out for portions of upstate New York, right around Lake Erie here, and then these 2 lakes. Okay, we have 2 winter storm watches. Okay, this is going to be for that lake effect snowstorm that's really going to drop a lot of snow, and I'm going to show you guys some snowfall totals that are really going to be impressive. And we're going to be looking at the CFS Model, and it's actually been showing some pretty active times ahead. All right, some freeze warnings going out for portions of California into southern Nevada. It's been pretty cold lately. We're going to dip below freezing once again tonight, so be aware of that. And then up in here in the Dakotas, we do have wind advisories because we are actually quite breezy getting into tonight. So we go over to this is our wind chill. Okay, these are not our actual temperatures; they're just our wind chill temperatures. Okay, this is how the wind is making it feel outside. Okay, so basically what happens here is this is kind of like the real feel. So if you step outside right now, this is what it will feel like. Okay, we can see right where that winter storm is. This is your pretty good contrast right here. We're getting our real feels right around 50 degrees out here in the portions of southeastern Oklahoma, and then just inside that cold front, we're in the teens. That's our real field temperature. But behind all this, where that cold front is really digging down, it's getting powered by those stronger lower level winds. Look at this, into Wyoming, almost below 0 degrees here for some places. Out into western Nebraska, everybody is below 10 degrees. People are in the teens all over the northern U.S. We could even see up where our this is where our wind advisories are. Okay, it's making it feel like 19 degrees, so it's probably at this point it's probably in the 30s. Okay, but it's the wind is so strong, it's making it feel like it's in the teens. So we could really be just below freezing when we could actually it could be feeling like it's in the teens. But ahead of that cold front, in that warm front, we're still hanging on to 40s, 30s, feeling like it's in the 60s and 70s down here on the Gulf Coast. Even into the Northeast tonight, it's going to be very cold. Up here in Maine, 9 degrees it's going to feel like. But I mean, man, this is really showing you where that cold front is, where those gustier conditions are, right along the northeastern coastline. We're in the 30s. Okay, just a lot of cold air in general. And here is your polar vortex. You can see it up here, and that's where the numbers get pretty low. But yeah, that's basically what's sending all these deep cold blasts down. Okay, so just want to show you that, just because I did notice that we are actually very cold in some places in the United States right now. Okay, so we go over to the NAM 3 cam model for the north central U.S. So we're going to be talking about Winter Storm Cait, which we have been talking about since yesterday. All right, so this was the story as of 2 p.m. today. Okay, we had some bands of extremely heavy snow moving over really the opening of the panhandle of Oklahoma going into Kansas. We have some bands of very, very heavy snow, some freezing rain out there, and then a little bit of some rain showing up on the south side, the warmer side of the storm, you could say. All right, but we take this out to where we are now, which is around 9:30. So we'll put this out to 10 p.m. I'll get rid of the sounding there. Okay, so we're getting to 10 p.m. Notice how that storm really evolves as we get throughout the day, and we don't see any more of that freezing rain, so it's really just rain or snow. And I like this about winter storms, where it's if you're in that warm front, you're warm. If you're in where that warm air is, if you're inside that warm air, you're gonna get rain. Okay, if you're in the cold air, you're gonna get snow. That's exactly what's going on here. You can see right where that cold front ends. It's right here. This is where that cold front ends. That line. Okay, you can see exactly on that line. This blue line here is that cold front. This is the front of that cold. I mean, I kind of just said it backwards there for you guys, but that's that's what I'm saying. Okay, and you can see it's like just south of that line. Anywhere south of that line, you go right to rain. So that's what I really like about this system. It's just it's very dynamic, and I just like that fact about it. All right, it's nice and easy here. We see a piece of energy, a weak piece of energy, maybe even a clipper, moving down from the Dakotas into Minnesota. That's going to drop a few inches of snow. We can see snow spreading all the way up towards really up towards Michigan and Wisconsin, but we can see snow starting to spread into portions of northwestern Illinois. We can see really all of central and eastern Iowa getting in on some snow. Looks like if you're up in the northern portions of Missouri, you'll stay as all snow, maybe a spotty shower or two. All right, but if you're south of that, you'll most likely stay as rain, maybe a stray flurry or whatever. But that snow, guys, the NAM 3 cam model wants this to dig deeper, farther south as this cold front falls behind the system, and it actually wants to bring snow into portions of central Illinois. So like I said, it's definitely possible, and this actually may come in freezing rain form. Okay, we can see some freezing rain starting to show up here on the front side of that snowfall and rain boundary. Okay, but that snowfall, it's staying all snow for the northern tier of Illinois. We can see right around the Chicago area. It's going to stay as all snow for pretty much all through the night, and then you wake up tomorrow and you'll have a fresh coating of snow on the ground. Same thing for Michigan. Looks like all of Michigan will stay snow, but on the backside, it may be actually warm enough for some rain. I don't know why, because you'll actually, at this point, you'll be in the cold front. I think it's going to just stay as all snow for portions of Michigan. And then your lake effect snowstorm begins here. And look at these bands of very, very heavy snow that we'll talk about in just a minute. But yeah, that cold front at this point is all the way down towards the southeast. So wherever you see in blue, that's where it's most likely you're going to be waking up to temperatures in the 20s. That's how cold it's going to be. So very cold air moving just down like that. You can see the direction of these blue lines, and these isobars too show the wind current, and then also how strong they are by how close these lines are, and so you could tell that it's moving down like that. Okay, so we go over to the northeast. We're looking at the northeast side of things because you guys are going to be next in line for being hit by this system. Okay, so this is the middle of the night, really, 2 p.m. today. Okay, we got warm air. We're in between warm air and cold air for southern New England into PA and then New Jersey. Okay, and then here comes your system right here. But what I want you guys to also look at is we do have a coastal low, okay, that's developing off the Carolinas. All right, that's actually going to come up and meet with this system. It's going to merge together, and boom, you get a double system. They come together. Okay, that's going to definitely strengthen this. Okay, so if you're in southern New England, you're going to get uppercutted by a big low pressure system that's going to bring a lot of heavy rain and maybe a thunderstorm or two to your area, really 11 p.m. tomorrow night. Okay, so Sunday night, tomorrow night, it's going to be a very loud night, really. A lot of heavy rainfall moving through southern New England. This thing really gets going, and man, you guys are in Connecticut, Rhode Island, now impacting Boston and portions of eastern Massachusetts. Very, very heavy rainfall, maybe some thunderstorms. All right, and then it's all rain for the rest of the Northeast, really, but some pockets of heavy snow possible. But it's looking like this is going to be more of a rain system for the Northeast. And then as this moves into Maine, it actually still strengthens because this low is actually, this low is actually still off the coast, and so it actually can still strengthen from those warmer waters. Okay, and so we can see then that that we get very, very heavy snow up into northern Maine. It's like the southern half of Maine is going to stay as all heavy rain, northern half getting in on some very heavy snow. Here comes that lake effect snow behind it. Look at all these bands here. These are definitely going to be snow squalls. I'm telling you guys, we are going to see a very dangerous day for travel tomorrow. If you're up by the Great Lakes, I'm just going to say good luck and stay safe. Okay, this is going to be a huge snowfall event for you guys. Multiple inches are very likely with this. But I mean, look at this showing up here. Just north of the Finger Lakes region of upstate New York, we could be dealing with snowfall rates of 4 to 6 inches per hour. I mean, that is ridiculous. Okay, but potentially a life-threatening band of snow. When have you heard of that? I mean, I don't think it's going to be certainly as crazy as the snowfall event of last year where we saw like 6 feet of snow or something. But I think that you could definitely be seeing snowfall totals above, maybe up to a foot and a half. I think that's possible. It really depends on how much snow, or how long I should say, of snow you get. But even up towards PA, Michigan, and Ohio, you're all going to get snow. It's just going to be a hit or miss kind of situation because you see there's many snaky lines here. You get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 6 or 7 different lines of the snowfall. Okay, so it really depends on how many bands of snow you get. That's gonna be what the snowfall totals will be relying on. Okay, but the ending frame here is really a big question here because if this snowfall event continues into Vermont and New Hampshire, or it slows down, how much snow are they going to get? We don't know. So when the OZ comes out, you guys can look at that. That will tell you. But we'll look at this tomorrow because we still got time. This is actually 3 days out. Okay, so we still got 2 days to figure this out. So we'll talk about this tomorrow if I can get an update in. But yeah, we'll definitely have to continue to watch that. All right. So we go over to our snowfall totals for the north central U.S. So it's pretty simple here. For that area that's going to be experiencing snowfall, doesn't look like it's going to be that much. 2 to 3, I would say, really ranging from 1 to 3 inches of snow for this area. The NAM3 model wants 2 inches, really 1 to 2 inches in generally in central Illinois. But north of that, you could get up to 3 inches of snow, I would say. Northern Missouri, through I would say 2 to 4 inches. We see that lake effect snow really start to come in play here for our snowfall totals up towards Michigan. We can start to see those brighter pinks. Okay, that's going to signify snowfall totals of above 6 inches. Okay, but for our winter storm, it's looking like Oklahoma and Kansas are really going to be the winners for our snow. Looks like you'll be topping off at around 7 inches just to the southeast of central Kansas, where you can see the heaviest snowfall totals. Surrounding that, you could really expect 4 to 6 inches, and then a little bit lower, maybe 2 to 4 inches in those purples and those light blues. So, we're gonna definitely see. I think this isn't gonna be the most impactful of winter storms, but this is actually going to be a pretty substantial winter storm. Considering that we don't have the strongest of cold blasts, so if we did, I think we would see more snow with this. But yeah, this is what we get for now. All right, so we go over to the northeast. Okay, for you guys, this is your winter storm snowfall up here. This is just from your lake effect snowstorm. Okay, for that winter storm, it looks like really for the mountains of West Virginia into PA, 1 to 2 inches. Generally higher depends on how high up you are. Okay, some snow going out from Maine. You can see now into Maine, we see anywhere from 5 to 8 inches of snow, but some areas could actually see higher amounts. Okay, and that band, by the way, of that lake effect snow moving up in through upstate New York. Well, the NAM3 model wants that to drop 16 inches of snow, which is approaching a foot and a half of snow. So it looks like that this will actually be a very intense band of snow if we stay with this. We really just gotta continue watching what the models are saying. All right. So we go back to the GFS. This is just like what we did yesterday. We're going to be looking at our temperature anomalies, look at what times could be cold, what times could be hot, what is going to be our kind of temperature pattern that we're going to be looking at. All right, so this is what we've got going on now. We're pretty much cold everywhere, hanging on to some warmth in the south, but we're cold in the north and the central U.S. But watch as this changes. Okay, we get more of an Arctic plunge here, but a very strong ridge is building over western Canada, and that spills in to the western U.S. So I think this cold air will quickly exit, to the eastern U.S., while this warm air follows behind it. Okay, and that's what happens here. We're hanging on to some cold air, okay, out in the west, but it looks like this warm air is really going to dig deep as we get to the 29th. All right. And so at this point, we've got some cold air in the northwest. We can see some pockets of very deep cold air here, but it looks like in the central U.S. will be a little warm, and then hanging on to some cold air in the east. But that will quickly change because it's got enough warm air to support this warm front here. And this is where things get a little interesting. December 1st. All right, I'm gonna make a time frame here. December 1st to December 5th. I think that we could get some sort of a big severe weather event in the southeast. Okay, why do I say this? Well, the southeastern ridge is going to become upon us once again as we get into December, meaning that we're going to see this Gulf moisture that's left over from hurricane season going to start pumping up into the southeastern U.S., creating warmer temperatures, and that's what we call as the southeastern U.S. ridge. Okay. And so any cold air, any strong cold front spills in behind it and starts to press up against this warm air. I think that wherever that happens, that's going to cause enough tension in the atmosphere. If there's also enough moisture there, that could actually cause a pretty substantial severe weather event. So in this case, what we see here, we do see some cold air moving down. We can see really into northern Texas, we can get to 12 degrees below our historical average. This is that that's that temperature gradient that we're seeing right here between that cold air and that warm air. So really, this line here is where we could actually be dealing with some strong to severe storms potentially. This is 138 hours out. Okay, so let's see. This is this is 6 days out from now. All right, but we are looking at a setup that could support a severe weather event. All right, that warm air gets pushed off to the east. We're all over the place at this point. I mean, there's so many mixes of cold air, warm air that it's not going to be that active until we really get a big drastic change. And here we go. That polar vortex comes back to life, really, or I don't know what you want to call it. It sends another cold shot down, okay? And that warm air begins to surge up to Western Canada, okay? Warm air surging up from the Pacific Ocean, okay? And then we also see some very cold air moving down from Canada here. That's going to be moving into the north central U.S. 252 hours out, December 6th, okay? So just after that time frame I was talking about, that spilled right into the eastern U.S., and for the second day in a row, the GFS is showing a very substantial cold blast to get all the way down to Florida, making it feel, or making the temperatures anywhere from 12 to 16 degrees below our historical average at the lowest, okay? Then that warm air shifts off to the east, but we see another comeback of that cold air in Western Canada. And what does that do? Well, we don't know that yet because this is so far out. But wow, the GFS wants a second cold blast. One cold blast, that warm air moves out, and then a second cold blast. So it looks like we're going to have many pattern flip-flops. And we're just gonna have to watch every one of them because they could definitely cause big problems. We got to figure this out. All right, so that's why I'm gonna continue showing this model guidance as we progress for the last few days of November into December. But yeah, we definitely just saw a very active run of the GFS. All right, so now we look at the precipitation side of things. So yesterday, I wouldn't say we saw that active across the central U.S. Okay, I would say definitely the eastern U.S. was more active. We saw a bigger sign for nor'easters, but I already have looked at the 18Z, and it definitely doesn't look the same. All right, so here comes your system. This is Winter Storm Cait, moves into the northeast, and then this is that time frame where we are very quiet for a day or so, or a few days actually, because we're getting to the 29th. We still don't have much going on, but here comes a system that's forming in the south central U.S. Okay, it's really supported by that Gulf moisture. Okay, and so you do have some cold air nearby, but this is kind of this ridge here is starting to flatten out, so that's going to make the weather very boring. Just because there aren't really any bumps or turns or twists in the jet stream. When the jet stream flattens out like that and it's just pretty much straight or so, that's definitely going to that's not going to amplify the storm systems. But the GFS, that same setup, that same time frame, December 1st, the GFS wants exactly what I was warning about, though. That cold front starting to move down behind it. Okay, this ridge is actually now starting to it's now starting to move over to the east. Okay, that southeastern ridge is coming upon us again, but it shows a severe weather event. Okay, you can see a very heavy rainfall, which would signify severe thunderstorms. This one is for western Arkansas down towards northeastern Texas into portions of southwestern Oklahoma. We flip it back to our temperature anomalies, and bam, right here, that's that same exact time frame. Wow, I actually can't. That's the same exact time frame I pointed out there. We could see that actually that response from the temperature anomalies now to the precipitation map here. We can actually see a signal for a potential severe weather event on December 1st. Okay, but that system continues to progress, and we could be talking about, based off this run, a multi-day severe weather outbreak, or I shouldn't say outbreak, but event, I should say. Okay, and we see more strong thunderstorms moving across the Tennessee Valley. This is impacting northern and central Louisiana. Wow, a very impactful system. And then this actually continues to strengthen, gets its own low pressure, 996 millibars, a lot of snow up top, okay, and a lot of rain moving down throughout the Ohio Valley now. Okay, that storm system kind of just, it falls apart as this ridge it gets thrown off to the eastern U.S., and it doesn't really do much. It kind of hangs around in the northeast for a while. All right, after that, things remain active. We got different pieces of energy flying around, but none of them seem to really become that strong and significant. I just wanted to point out, it looks like we do actually see a very strong system moving into the northwest. That could bring some sort of piece of energy that could cause some chaos. But notice this piece of energy hanging around in the Gulf, that small Gulf low around December 4th. Okay, moves through the eastern U.S., and then behind it, okay, you get a cold front. Pretty strong cold front. It's moving down like this. Okay, behind that system, it's bringing cold air, plenty of cold air into the eastern U.S., and that low is going to be moving like this. Okay, that could be a nor'easter setup. And so we are actually still seeing more signs from the GFS on a potential nor'easter. So that's actually going to be a very significant signal to watch. We see what happens with this one. That cold blast really it gets going, and that storm system, it goes too far out to sea really, and it doesn't strengthen until really the last minute. And so at that point, it barely brings some snow into the northeast, some scattered snow, but definitely not as significant as it could be if it strengthened earlier and hugged the coastline rather than going more or less out to sea. But very impactful system with those winds, okay, very strong winds with that, and very cold air behind it. Okay, here comes another piece of energy that it's very very weak. I don't know what happened here. I think the GFS actually just this just glitched or something, because this is showing 1,020 millibar low pressure, which is not low pressure. That is high pressure for sure. So a little bit of a glitch here. So this actually may not be reliable because it's not, I don't think it's showing the right information, but it shows a very weak low pressure moving down with a strong cold front down all the way to northern Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, the 3 states there, and then it's starting to swirl around out there in the Carolina coastline. That's another nor'easter setup, okay, right there, because it's got that same cold front behind it, bringing those cold temperatures down for it to be able to snow, and it scoops up that Atlantic moisture or that Gulf moisture, depends on the position of the storm, and then it begins its ride up to the northeast, but this one actually goes out to sea. So very active times ahead based off the GFS. Not seeing any ridiculously strong storms, but I am seeing a pretty significant amount of storm systems that go through or that run through the central and the eastern United States. So we look at our current projected snowfall totals from now to December 11th. Okay, it looks pretty active in the west. You can see a lot of snow in the upper elevations. Other than that, a few inches for those other areas. Okay, into the central U.S., we can see a lot of snowfall, definitely very active into Kansas, and then all the way up towards Wisconsin, maybe up to a foot of snow now to December 11th. So, we could be talking about over a foot of snow in just, what is this, 20 days? All right, that's definitely going to be something to watch here. That's certainly a good signal that would support a winter storm, okay? But with that nor'easter threat, okay, in southern New England, we'd see some snow, a few inches of snow, but really it's up into the interior northeast where we see those really crazy snowfall totals. Look at Maine here getting 4 feet. I wouldn't say 4 feet, but multiple feet of snow in just 20 days. So that's going to show some very active times for just the northeast in general, because whenever you see any region out here that suddenly it brightens up with a lot of snow, that shows a sign that a big winter storm could be brewing. The GFS wants a lot of snow down all the way to Georgia and South Carolina. Wow, South Carolina getting in on some early snow before Christmas, okay? But we can see maybe 5 inches of snow into northern Georgia, 1 inch to 2 inches into northern South Carolina. Okay, I don't think this is the most reliable run of the GFS, but it wants a foot of snow into North Carolina out to December 11th, which is pretty wild. But it is that same system that I showed here that was swirling around, that got caught up by that cold front here. It's that same system that glitched on the GFS. So yeah, I think that this could be some false information, but yeah, it does show a very heavy snow snowstorm, you could say, moving down to North Carolina. Okay, but other than that, just it looks like very active in general for your upcoming snowfall totals. So looking into the far future now, we're looking at what could be happening for December, because that's really going to be our first meteorological month of winter. Okay, and so taking a look at our current temperature anomalies based off of this is the Climate Prediction Center. All right, they're expecting above average temperatures in the east and right around average or normal temperatures in the west. Okay, so it seems pretty simple here, but I think that we're actually going to be flip-flopping a lot, so I think that this could change. This was issued on November 16th, so this is definitely going to be updated in just a few days. Might be updated actually. Yeah, I think this actually will be updated tomorrow. So we'll take a look at what happens tomorrow with this forecast, but I think that we'll actually see some spots that will be leaning below average for our temperatures, but it wants to show above average temperatures in the west, in the east, at highest 50 to 60% chance for above average temperatures, and in the western U.S., you got equal chances for either below or above average temperatures. So, it doesn't look that active based off of this temperature outlook, but I think that we will see a little bit more of more active outlook for the one that comes out tomorrow or just in the near future. All right, so for the last part of the update, I want to quickly look at the CFS model. This is basically what the extended GFS model looks like. This one actually goes out 768 hours, so a very far time period away from us. But this is just going to show us an early hint or an early signal of what the winter storm scenario would be for December, because it's looking like December is also going to be very active when it's going to come to our winter storm. So here's that same winter storm that we've got going on right now. Okay, well, what does the CFS show for the rest of November? Well, picks up on that same storm system I was talking about in the south, but it has it happening a lot later. Okay, this is happening 168 hours out. I think we saw 138 hours out. So really just above a day after the GFS that was showing that severe weather event possibly happening. Well, the CFS is picking up on that too. And it actually brings that same system into the northeast, brings some snow to southern New England. Okay, so maybe some first time snow for you guys out there. That also moves out to sea. Another Gulf low starting to pop up here. That was also, the GFS also showed that. And that brings it kind of out to sea, and it takes that same nor'easter look, but it doesn't quite do that. It doesn't hug the coastline. It's still, both of them go out to sea. So maybe we're going to get a few different chances for a nor'easter to set up. Okay, but a lot of them will go out to sea. That could be happening here, that because the GFS and CFS have both shown here that we could actually see those storm systems, instead of hugging the coastline, continuing up the coast, just go right out to sea. All right, but on the backside, you actually do get some snow in the northeast. Behind it, a huge Arctic plunge. Look at this huge, very organized Arctic plunge controlled by our polar vortex out here. Okay, this is very, very organized, because this is your polar vortex up here. This is what's sending down all these cold shots, but it's coming right down up into here, and then that low pressure. Let me get rid of that area. Let me draw a new one. That low pressure it's bringing all that cold air right in. So that's why you see that very tight pull in the jet stream here on the GFS. That is something that's certainly going to be able to spark up some storm systems. And the CFS brings a massive system into the Northeast. Let's see where that piece of energy comes from. All right, that comes from, it comes from it's a weak clipper system coming down from Canada, and then it comes all the way down to the Northeast, and then the Southeast, and then the Northeast, and brings a lot of snow, like a nor'easter would. So yeah, it looks like we really could be dealing with a big upcoming pattern for potential nor'easters. So it looks like December is gonna be, maybe it's gonna be that 1 month that will be, that could actually be active for the northeastern coastline that we were worrying about. Because I know if you look at different people's um winter season forecast, their preliminary winter season forecast, pretty much all of them said that they were expecting very active snowstorms out there in the Northeast and big nor'easters. Well, it looks like that whenever whatever time frame they were referring to, it looks like that could actually come early. That could come into December. All right, but the CFS wants a very big storm system to move right into the Northeast. Then behind it, we see another big dip in the jet stream, another system unfolding that forms farther south, and bam! Wow, we get a very intense storm system, 968 millibar snowstorm here, and that delivers a heck of a strong system for your winds, okay? Because this is so dynamic. I mean, look how sharply contrasted, or I don't even know how to describe this, but just these isobars, they're all perfectly circling around that low pressure center. They get that low pressure is just right in the middle of where those isobars circle around. But that is a crazy strong system. That's like a Winter Storm Elliott kind of system right there. That's very, very strong. Okay, so yet another big system for the Northeast. So it looks like the Northeast could be the region that's up next for big snowstorms. Yeah, we get another big snowstorm. So yeah, it looks like December could actually be quite active for the eastern U.S., I would say. Central U.S. too. And then obviously the northwestern U.S. I've been saying it for a long time now. I think there's a good shot that we'll be dealing with an atmospheric river soon, because the GFS and CFS have been agreeing on rounds after rounds of heavy rainfall and snowfall just battering that region. We get another system that develops here. But yeah, this is 768 hours out. So please, please, please do not rely on this as a forecast. This is nothing close to a forecast, okay? Some of these storm systems that you just saw could not even happen, okay? It's just a signal that we're looking at of what could happen in the far future into December. So that's all I got for you guys. Thank you so much for coming to watch. We'll see you guys in the next video. So I apologize for messing with my nose and my face. It's very, very itchy. I'm dealing with a pretty nasty cold right now, so that's the reason why. But yeah, we're just gonna have to watch these systems. Stay safe out there with Winter Storm Cait. Let me know how much snow you get if you're gonna be in the way of that. But yeah, we're gonna definitely have to watch Winter Storm Cait, that lake effect snowstorm, and then what lies ahead as we get throughout the rest of November into December. And this big signal for snowstorms in the Northeast and Eastern U.S. So thank you all for coming to watch this video. I'll see you guys.